Welcome back to Roosters Radio. And we are joined by two of their performance last Sunday against the Sharks was their best this year. We've got two of our great NRLW players, Keeley Davis and Olivia Kernick. Ladies, welcome to Roosters Radio.
Thanks. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Olivia, you're on debut. You're your first time on the show.
Yes.
Keeley, you've been on once, maybe twice, yeah?
Yeah, once before.
Now, girls, look, let's hop straight into it because those that watched that game down there at PointsBet Stadium, the old Shark Park, coming into the match, Cronulla undefeated, top of the table, well, you put 40 on them, and, geez, it was good to watch. How was it being out there?
Thanks. It was really good. I think we had been working on our defence pretty hard the last few weeks. We weren't very happy with the last few performances, so I think it had been building that defensive effort. So I think that was the most pleasing, and yeah, it felt great to finally click in attack as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think we were really, like Cheeky said, building our defence over the last couple of weeks. So to keep them to nil felt really special, and especially against Cronulla, who've been undefeated all season. I think that was a really great win for us.
Yeah, it was definitely fantastic to keep them to nil. And I know, Strangey, as you just mentioned, you've really been concentrating on that. But your attack, both of you, I mean, Olivia, you had a cracking game. Try assists, scoring tries, chasing down kicks. There was nothing that you couldn't do in that game. How did you feel after that performance?
Yeah, thank you. I felt really good. I feel like everyone did such a solid job across the park. But, yeah, I think it's just a lot of effort plays, and everyone genuinely had, I think, their best game that game. But yeah, it felt really good.
I've got to mention that pass too,
left
to right. Like seriously, I think you were kind of half falling too. Like you were. It was just phenomenal. What a pass!
Thanks.
Little halfback skills there, hey.
Look, I am left-handed, so it is.
No, you don't say that.
I will mention.
I practice that at training every week.
You do in drop-out touch. You always throw those.
It's been a long time coming, I guess.
You watched it a few times back, didn't you? Walking to the lounge room, I reckon 10 minutes just scrolling.
All the views on Instagram, they're all
me.
Hey, Keeley, one thing I've noticed, and I spoke to Coach Strange earlier before we started recording today, if I look back at a couple of our games where we lost Knights and the Titans, when we're attacking their line, we're playing quite shallow, but it looked on the weekend that we played a little bit deeper, and that's why it seemed that those passes, whether they'd get knocked down or the attackers or defenders would come up and knock down the play.
Yeah.
It looked like there was just that little bit more depth that we played
Yeah.
with. Was that a plan?
Yeah, for sure. I think the first week our spine was pretty different to what we had trained with all pre-season. So not an excuse, but that's definitely why we're a bit clunky there, especially that Newcastle game in good ball. We're way too flat and we just didn't click. So we had been working on probably the last 2 weeks in particular, really that attacking the line, because that's where we're having a fair bit of trouble, and just building that connection there. So I think we did a much better job this weekend, but still a little bit clunky in areas, so we'll keep improving hopefully.
And just leading into that match, I know Izzy in the press conference after the match, she said, we were the underdogs and it's not something we're used to, but leading up into training, when you come off a training paddock in the week and you're ready to put in a good performance. Like, Liv, you said it was the best game we've all played. Did you know going into the dressing room Sunday morning that you were ready and you were going to turn it on?
Yeah, 100%. I think we all felt pretty confident, and like Izzy said in the press conference, it was sort of nice going in as underdogs. I feel like the last couple of seasons we've always been the team out to that everyone was out to get us. So it was nice to have that little bit of pressure eased off us, and I think everyone just genuinely had such a fun game, and it looked like we were having a lot of fun out there, and just the connection throughout the last couple of weeks has been really solid, and I think we finally found our feeding.
But there's injuries. You've been plagued by injuries all season, be it the spine or at the start of the year. Taryn went off even late in the game. Is that affecting you guys throughout the week, just getting those combinations right? Like it all clicked on the weekend, but I think you had 5 out last weekend.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a factor. I think even in the women's game with having such small squads, it's definitely more of a factor of having versatility in your team. So I think Stranger's obviously done such a great job at having people in our squad who are versatile and being able to fit in any position need be. But yeah, it is something through the week that we're just each week with those changes, just cleaning up and making sure that we feel nice and confident with the new people coming in.
You mentioned there about the squads. I didn't actually look into it too much until these injuries came up this season, but just explain it to the fans. You do have a smaller squad than the men's, don't you?
Yes.
So
yeah.
How does that work when you do have injuries and suspensions? And I think you look for exemptions for the junior players to come in. How does that all work?
Yeah, so we've got a squad of 24 and then 4 development. But we've gone through probably, we're at 17 at the moment that are available. Mm-hmm. So once you go through those amount of players, you can bring in your development girls. So we've got 4 development girls.
Wow.
And then you have to get an exemption each week for them. So you can't just get one for one game and then they're allowed to play every other game. It's every week. And I feel like the last few weeks we've only been able to have like 17 or 18 that were fit to play. So I think we've done such a good job considering, we've been hit with so many different injuries and a suspension from Millie last weekend.
Yeah.
But no, we've done a really good job at holding it all together, I reckon.
Well, it's something that NRLW will obviously have to look at. More teams, more games. So next year, come on, let's help the girls out.
Just with bringing in these younger players, Olivia, for you personally, because you're one of the leaders of the club now, and it's always these kind of edge forwards or back rowers, front rowers. Have you had to change your game a little bit to become more of a leader of the forwards?
Yeah, I think so. I think me and Keeley both have had to play a bit of a leadership role within the team, and I feel like I personally just learn it on the run, and you've got these young girls that really look up to you, and which is crazy to think because only a couple of seasons ago I was asking for help of other people and still am, but I think it's just something I'm continually learning every training session and just trying to be the best teammate for them.
Couple of big performances, your captain, nearly 300 metres. Like, what's it like playing with her when she's in kind of that barnstorming, give me the ball, I'm taking it. And then you got Amber Hall as well, who, for a big woman, her footwork is amazing. And, there was a try the other week where she kind of did a little skip before the try line. These girls going forward, it must be good for you as a halfback just to be getting around them and getting those extra yards through the middle.
Yeah, no, it's when Izzy's in that form and playing so aggressive, she's very inspirational and makes everybody else's job a lot easier to get on the back of. But yeah, I definitely love playing dummy half behind a great pack and great outside backs makes my job very easy and fun.
Well, let's get into a little bit background of the game for you girls. We often ask the girls what got you into the game, what got you into rugby league, the passion to play. So, Liv, what brought you to the NRLW?
I was playing a bit of touch and netball, just a whole different variety of sports. And then one of my school friends asked me to play league when I was 16, 17, and that was in the Central Coast local comp there. And it was 9-a-side back then. And I just joined up for numbers and then got asked to trial for Tarsha for Newcastle Knights, and sort of just fell into the system there. And once I was 18, fell into Central Coast Roosters where Strangey was my coach. He was actually my first coach at Berkeley Vale for the local comp. I played with
Panthers.
Jazz.
Ooh,
Yeah, Berkeley
so you're
Vale
a Central
Panthers.
Coast girl?
Yes,
Good.
yes.
Love them. I'm from the Central Coast.
Oh, awesome. But so Strangey was our first my first ever coach, and then got to be coached by him when I was back at Central Coast Roosters. So sort of just stayed in the system there, scraped a development contract in 2020, and then got my first contract in 2021.
Great. And a Wollongong girl.
Yes, yeah, pretty similar story though to Kernick. Just played a lot of different sports and fell into it, I guess. A lot of rugby league people in my family. My dad used to coach league and union and just was always watching. So I think I signed up when I was pretty young. But with being a female, you have to stop at the age of 12. So I just went into OzTag, touch, bit of rugby sevens. And then as soon as a competition, Tarsha Gal actually started in 2017, I just played in that and fell into the Dragons pathway from then, and then rest is history.
Beautiful.
Yeah, girls, away from rugby league, We know that you've got a building a media career, the Upfront podcast with your roommate, Millie. Tell the fans who haven't seen or heard a little bit about it. There's a lot of talking. I saw some great photos, young photos of you two ladies.
We had a little look before. It was hilarious. Good old school photos back in the day.
It's been very popular, that one, girls.
Oh, yeah, it's been fun. I've been a special guest for this year. Since this year, we've all been living together, so I've managed to make my way as a third host. But Keels and Millie have had it going for a
couple of years.
Probably started start of last year.
Yeah, I remember when you first started. I think when we interviewed you.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, we just chat a bit of footy, chat a bit of life, but yeah, it's just fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
It's great fun. It's a great listen too. So if you haven't heard it out there, jump on Upfront.
Yeah.
Upfront podcast. So
Yeah.
it's awesome.
And girls, if you weren't footballers, what do you think you'd be?
Oh, God.
You want to go first?
Oh, I'd probably still be working at a bar, so hanging on the coast.
Up there at Terrigal somewhere.
So I reckon I'd be on my 10th job, trying to start a new business or something like that. But
Keely's just started crocheting, so you'll probably see that business up and running soon.
Interesting.
You sound like an entrepreneur to me. You've got all these things happening, lots of fingers in the pie.
I get over things quickly. Couple weeks in it and then change.
So girls, you guys are paving the way. So I've got two daughters, 16 and 14, who watch your games, play rugby sevens through school. And like I've said to quite a few of the Roosters girls that we've spoken to, like you guys, like as young men, we had posters of our favourite footballers. Like you guys are doing that for the girls like my daughter, right? So they're idolising these players. They know all the teams. You know, we saw when you played for New South Wales up at Newcastle, it's a sellout. The crowds are, you know, the game is growing. How long do you think it will be? Like, do you think it'll be in your career time where you can be full-time footballers? What do you think?
I feel like maybe towards the back end of my career, maybe like 20. By the time I'm 28, I'm not too sure. I have no idea. So I hope. I like to think that it would be.
I feel like I can see the future. And like it's growing. Like we were talking about it before. Like everyone was talking about your performance on the weekend, right? Compared to the men. Like it's just a bigger talking point here at the Nick Politis Centre of Excellence. So the game is growing. You know, we're going to be eventually getting more teams. We're seeing a lot more young women playing it at under 14s, under 16s, under 8, and particularly up on the coast where it's flourishing, right? So I feel like the women's game in particular is growing faster and it's more popular than ever before. So I feel like it's maybe 3-4 years away.
Yeah, it is coming. I think they're just in such a tricky point, the NRL, with expanding too quickly and making sure that everybody who's in the competition is earning enough to sustain themselves in that professional environment. You look at other sports and rugby sevens, for example, they went professional pretty quickly back in, I think, 2013 or 14, and they had pretty small contracts, but they only had 12 or 13 contracted at the time. Yeah. So those girls made that sacrifice, whereas you're asking for hundreds of girls probably to make sacrifices monetarily. So it's just a really tricky situation. But the way it's growing, it's going to happen in the next 10 years, I'd say.
What about you guys as your own brand? Now, it's a kind of a marketing speak, but if I look at some of the other sports, and there's always individual players. I'll give you an example. Tilly Kearns in water polo, right? She's got like 50,000 followers, sponsorship and endorsements and stuff like that. Is that something that you think you could do in the not too distant future to kind of, I suppose, make money for yourself as well as being a semi-pro or professional athlete?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like definitely like the game is growing into that in that way, and I feel like if as a female athlete, if you want to go down that route, like you definitely can. Sponsorships and endorsements and getting boots and whatever it may be, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's definitely some girls doing that really well, that lean into it and work hard, and it's a massive market, and you can definitely make some money through that. It's definitely not everybody's cup of tea though, and
not at all.
They steer away from it. But there's some money to be made, and some girls are fantastic.
Pouring schooners at the Terrigal Tavern or whatever,
hey,
right?
Listen, I'm a publican's daughter. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm serious, right? Like, you guys have got to be your own brand out there, right? And the only way to do that, more or less, is through social media channels.
Definitely. Speaking on that, and Cooper just said that the girls look up to you and things like that. Who did you look up to during your football career growing up?
Well, my football career started off a little bit late, so and I didn't really I used to watch the men play, but I didn't really completely follow them. So I feel like I didn't really idolize anyone in the NRL. I think it was more the people around me. I always wanted to be like my brother. He was always better than me at everything. It was my older brother, so I think I looked up to him and wanted to beat him in everything. So
very competitive.
But sorry, but you play I would call it like an old style second rower that goes to the line and is doing those offloads and that short ball kind of get your centres into the. But is that just something you've just picked up along the way, or is that something that you're watching film on, or how are you developing that skill? Because there's not too many. I'll be honest, that I think do that in the women's game, that run to the line as a ball playing back rower and offload.
Yeah, I think that's come from Strangey. He's known me for years. I've grown up playing with Jazz, his daughter, in Oztag and stuff. So he's known my skill level in different sports. And so when he was able to coach me at Central Coast Roosters, we've sort of developed that from when I was 18. Yeah. I wasn't the best at it at the start, but it really took a lot of coaching from him and also the skills that I had from my previous sports. So I think playing a lot of touch as a young kid definitely helped with that.
Because you got to have quick hands in touch, it's not, you don't have the ball in your hand that long. So,
but to run to the, it's the same at dummy half, you're scooping it up one hand and you do this and you cross field and turn the ball inside. Keeley, who do you kind of, look at to inspire you to play that number 9 role?
I was the same as Kernick, really. I watched a lot of my brothers. They played a lot of footy growing up, so as I've gotten older, definitely started watching more rugby league, but probably not until 2018, 2019. So players like Cam Smith, obviously, watched a lot of him. But yeah, I just think back to Liv's point, Strangey does such a good job at working out people's strengths and helping the game plan build around that and making sure that you're able to use your strengths in the game and the team knows what your strengths are. So I think that's one of Strangey's best assets and being able to bring that out in the players.
Definitely. I feel like he doesn't just play a traditional style of footy. He definitely always wants to bring out everyone's different strengths. So, Izzy's yardage carries, Hawley's just destruction near the line.
Hawley.
Yeah. So
what's it like to tackle her at training?
Well, we don't actually tackle her at training.
You couldn't. How do you tackle her at the game?
She does 70% because I think
she runs 10% because she just knows
Gentle
she'll probably
giant.
injure someone.
I'll get her up the top and she'll just kind of pretend to fall over.
I submit.
Yeah, pretty much. If you put a firecracker up her, she'll go crazy. But she saves it for the game, which I'm very thankful for.
She played big minutes on the weekend too, right?
Yeah.
Did she?
Yeah, she's coming off the back of the Liz Frank injury. So we missed her all last year, but she's just done an unreal job getting herself back in there and earning her spot again.
She's getting fit, very fit. Like quick, you can tell
Quick
someone's fitness because when they jump up and they can play the ball fast like that, it's coming,
Yeah, I feel like she just really missed playing footy last year and just really has a point to prove. Everyone knows how good she is, but missing a whole year of footy is so big and a lot of people can sort of fall off after a heavy injury like that. But yeah, Hawley's just done an amazing job getting herself back out there.
And girls, we got an update on Taryn Aiken. We know she came off with a shoulder injury.
Shoulder
any
or
news?
knee?
Shoulder.
Oh, I thought it was the knee.
Nah, she's all good.
She's all good. She'll be right, mate.
Ducks and drakes there from the girls.
I think she was sooking or something.
Yeah, I think she maybe wanted a session off training or something like that.
Eat the cheeseburgers, like you said.
Now, girls, only 2 more matches remaining before finals. 2 really important games. It's basically finals for you, regardless, right? We take on the Cowboys this week up there on the coast.
Yeah,
big
Gosford.
crowd. Bells, you'll be out there.
Great stadium. Is it as good to play there as to watch? Because it's a fantastic stadium to watch football at.
Yeah, I love playing there. A lot of my friends and family come, so it's always special for me. I got a big crowd coming, so
good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'll look out for all those posters.
And where's the improvement from this week from last week? Because, it was a 10 out of 10 from where I sat in front of the TV, but Where do you guys need? Where do you think there's some small areas to improve?
Yeah, I think we definitely took a lot of right steps, but our completion rate was still pretty low, so we'd like to clean that up a bit, I think, and just where we're changing over the ball when we're not completing. So I think completion will be a big focus for this week.
Yeah, 100%.
It's still because it is such a tight ladder still. I mean,
the weekend
did.
You got to keep winning.
Yeah,
the
really
weekend sorted it out a little bit more, but still only a couple of points between the sides. And I think Cowboys are coming 6 at the moment, so
they're only 1 win behind.
Yeah, they're
One
only
win.
There's 3
nothing in
teams,
it.
1 win behind us.
So every game is a
really
tight
important.
game.
Yeah. Well, ladies, we've really appreciated your time today. I know you probably got training on later on this afternoon. Best of luck on the weekend. Thanks for joining us on Roosters Radio. But more importantly, best of luck with the rest of the year.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Thanks,
Thanks for having
guys.
us.